You have made it through the first day, ladies and gentlemen. You have survived. The work week has begun. And oh, what a day of suffering it was. Slaving away in the salt mine. Shoulder to the wheel, nose to the grindstone. But you have persevered. You have made it home. And what is your reward? You get me. Hi, how are you doing out there in internet land? My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and welcome to Chattin on the Porch. Our nightly little get-together where we hang out, talk about the news, give our views, laugh, cry, do a little bit of everything to help us understand and get through this crazy thing we call life. We are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on that quaint little social media alternative known as YouTube. So please, if you have not done so already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel on not only Rumble and YouTube. And by the way, all you good YouTubers out there, please go ahead and double check your subscriptions, because YouTube's starting to play some very serious games with people. Not just on subscriptions, but man, there's some serious shutdown of accounts going on out there. It is straight crazy, people. Anyway, subscribe, share the link, leave a comment, tell your friends about us. Let's make this going little concern a going big concern. Again, my name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative. I am the fine fella in the fedora. I am the common man with common sense, and I am your host. We're on Rumble, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube. We're doing this thing we do and bringing it to you, Fedora Nation, the smartest audience on the internet. So good to have you guys here tonight. Glad to see everybody settling into their chairs. We'll get down to business here momentarily as soon as this wonderful intro music comes to a halt, and then you get to hear my melodious voice. And there it goes. How are you guys doing tonight? Glad to have you here with us. Let's see who all's in the house so far. Over on Rumble, well, the Wingnuts are here. WWG1 says, I'm going to need snacks for tomorrow night's show. It's going to be a long one. Well, we'll explain why if y'all are not aware of what's going on. TBA says, howdy, Fedora Nation. Meow, don't eat me. Loving the memes today. Oh, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that, my friend. Let's see who else is here. Good evening, Miss Gypsy. How are you doing? Yes, Miss Tesla, you made it. Glad to have you here in the house. Hello, darling. Oh, I saw that one thing you sent me today. Lord, wholly inappropriate, but absolutely hysterical. Seabass is here. Yeah, the crowd's starting to settle in. We're glad to have you guys here with us. And it is Monday. We are now starting back the work week. Yeah, it's not fair. If, as my father was fond of saying, if only we had all been born rich instead of good looking. Wouldn't have these problems. Anyway. Let's, hello, darling. Now, keep your eyes on this one, because she gonna be here tomorrow night. We'll explain that momentarily. Glad to have you here, darling. Ooh, and I love that logo. Ooh, love that. That looks nice. I like that. That is cool. Cool. All right. Some announcements. Some show related, some pop culture related. Some good, some bad, and some sad. But we'll get to the good stuff first. Tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Be here, or I don't know what to do for you, because we are going to have live coverage of the Harris-Trump debate from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Myself, got a whole host of fabulous guest commentators. Tracy from Gen X Marks the Spot is going to be here. Ruben Christopher Haynes is going to be here. Darius Simpson from Real Talk is going to be here. And Lord knows who else might show up to this shindig. It's hard to say who's going to pop in on us. You just never quite know. But we will start our coverage at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Now, just to give you an idea how this is going to go, for those of you who are regular attendees of this sort of soiree that we host, we're going to have about a half an hour of pre-debate commentary, just kind of setting everything up for you guys. And once 9 o'clock rolls around, we'll step off to the side and let you guys hear in as much of an uninterrupted way as we can possibly provide you. We'll let you see it and we'll let you hear it. The debate on ABC News. And there will be, according to scheduled reports, there are 2 scheduled commercial breaks. And we'll pop back in, give a few little quick comments, come back out to the debate. And then when the debate is over, we will come back for some full-on, good old-fashioned front porch commentary by myself and everybody else who will be here. TBA says no commentary from the sidelines. Well, look, the stated goal as the host is we want this to be as interruption free. Ruben's like, hell no, we're not going to be no commentary. What the hell? Ruben's like, I'll say whatever I want, dag on it. Good evening, Professor. Glad to have you here with us. Oh, well, that's okay. All right. I'm sorry. You mean laughing. Okay. My apologies. Yes, there will be commercials. There will be 2 scheduled breaks. I got a feeling, without knowing exactly the timing, I'd say one of them is probably going to be at the 45-minute mark. And the other one, if they do it like CNN did, they'll do it right before the closing statements. That would be my guess. How about laughing and cussing? I have a feeling everybody's going to be doing a lot of that tomorrow night. Well, we will be getting into that. So there'll be 2 scheduled commercials. And, we'll pop in some real quick comments in the 2 minutes and 20 seconds that they give for the commercials. And then from there, after it's over, yes, Trump has the last statement of the debate, which was his choice by virtue of the fact he won the coin toss. He will be making the last remark, which if you've ever been in a debate with somebody, no matter the format, you want to be the person giving the last remark because that's what everybody's going to remember. And if he does it right, it will redound to his benefit. So that is tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern. Please tell your friends. I've already got the live stream set up. I've been trying to advertise it a little bit today, but take the link, share it out there far and wide. It's already out on Rumble. It's already out on YouTube. So tell your friends, spread the word. By all means. Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for everything you guys do to help this little channel along. But yeah, by all means, let's spread the word tomorrow night. So 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, and we're going to have a good time. Now that's the good. There is some sad news as we come on this live stream tonight, and ladies and gentlemen, the entertainment industry has lost a giant. You hear the word legend thrown around a lot in this era, and I could say this of a lot of words in the English language. Legend is used far too often and far too casually. Where this gentleman was concerned, he earned every bit of the word legend. And with that, we here on the Electronic Front Porch have to announce the passing of the inestimable James Earl Jones, who passed away today at the age of 93. This is from NBCnews.com. The actor who earned Tony Awards, 2 Emmy Awards, an honorary Academy Award, and a Grammy, whose inimitable voice gave life to Mustafa and Darth Vader, died on Monday, his agent said. Article written by Ethan Sachs. We have the following. One of the most famous voices of all time has gone silent. James Earl Jones, whose prodigious acting talent was often overshadowed by his distinctive baritone over a 7-decade career both on stage and on the screen, died Monday. His representative said he was 93. A contemporary of Sidney Poitier and Harry Belafonte, Jones didn't land the same coveted leading roles at a time where there were few to go around for black actors in Hollywood, but he earned unmatched longevity as a character actor. From his first movie credit, 1964's Dr. Strangelove, to his reprisal of his role as King Joffrey in the 2021 sequel to Coming to America. Quote, James Earl Jones doesn't get enough credit for being a path blazer for actors like Denzel Washington who came after him, said Ray Don Chong, his co-star in the 1986 comedy Soul Man. A little further into the article. It was treading the boards of Broadway and beyond where Jones forged his place at the top of the marquee. Of his turn as the title character in the 1964 production of Othello in Central Park, the New York Times gushed, Mr. Jones commands a full, resonant voice and a supple body, and his jealous rages and frothing frenzy have not only the size, but also emotional credibility. It was, of course, that resonant voice that would eventually become his trademark. While he earned 2 Tony Awards, 2 Emmys, an honorary Academy Award, and a Grammy over his career, he may be best remembered for an uncredited role in Star Wars, supplying the voice for Darth Vader, which has reverberated far beyond the galaxy far, far away. Quote, I am a journeyman, Jones told today's Al Roker in a 2017 interview. I wandered into some interesting situations. Making his journey all the more remarkable is that one of the most recognizable voices in Hollywood had to overcome a severe stutter during his childhood in Mississippi and Michigan before he could take the first step. That is amazing. So yes, I feel like part of my childhood is gone. However, I believe there is breaking news that is somewhat tongue-in-cheek and not meant in any way disrespectful. But according to reports, it sounds like that James Earl Jones is not going to be sitting around quietly in the afterlife. According to the Babylon Bee, God has announced that he will now be voiced by James Earl Jones. I don't know, James. I think you got a pretty good gig going there, man. And the nice part about it is I don't think you're going to run out of time or material to be talking about things. So just saying. So congratulations, James. That's a pretty big get. If you're voicing the Almighty, dude, that ain't bad. So yeah, I saw that and I thought, yeah, we got to put that one in. So yes, the legendary James Earl Jones has passed at the age of 93. WWG1 says, well, what about George Burns? Isn't he voicing? Well, now, maybe George had the job and well, no, they're Morgan Freeman too. I don't know, man. That's right. I'd forgotten about this. James Earl Jones did a audio recording of the entirety of the Bible, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure how long it took him, but yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, so many great roles. I remember him from my childhood as being the voice of Darth Vader, but then I saw him in Hunt for Red October, Field of Dreams, the voice of Mustafa and the Lion King. I mean, it was just the New Testament. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the man was blessed, not just with great acting ability, but just genuinely blessed with one of the finest speaking voices in the whole of Christendom, actually of the whole world. I mean, that man's voice, you heard it and he was just instantly recognizable. So yeah, the word now, as I understand it, I won't say he trademarked his voice, but certain recordings were made of his speaking of certain words so that down the line, voice could be used for other different things, particularly as it relates to Star Wars. That was my understanding. Excuse me just a second. So yeah, we got all that going on. All right, let us move along to the Merry Memes section of the show. Yeah, here's another one that is James Earl Jones. Yeah, and as I recall, for many years, he was the intro outro voice for the Rush Limbaugh show before somebody else took it over. And then sometime down, I think somewhere maybe about midway through the lifespan of the Rush Limbaugh show, someone else took over that responsibility. But for years it was James Earl Jones. So there you go. All right, let's move on to the Merry Memes section of Chattin on the Porch. And if you're new to the show, And you're wondering, what is the Merry Memes section? Well, we've kind of stumbled upon a thing that's becoming a regular habit here on the electronic front porch. Whenever we find a meme that's pretty good or it's uh, introductory. Oh, it was Johnny. It was Johnny Donovan, I think, that took over. Yeah, I believe it was Johnny Donovan. Uh, Another great voice. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Whenever we find a really good meme that's funny or whatever, we kind of share it and pass it along. So the first one we're going to start out with is, you've heard the expression that politics makes for strange bedfellows. That is very, very true. Which, by the way, be very careful of the bedfellows that you get into the sack with, because some of the things you might produce could be pretty scary. With that in mind, we have our first meme of the evening. What happens when a communist and a fascist gets together? Well, they produce a Democrat. You know, like I say, be very careful of what you get into political bed with, because what you produce later on down the line may be more than you ever bargained for. And I think these two parents, I don't know, man, maybe they got what they wanted. Maybe America's not quite ready for what they produced. So there you go. TBA says we got to start with laughter to set the tone for the show. That is true. That is true. Now look, was Kamala the communist or the fascist? No, she may have been she may have been the fascist. Okay, because it looks like the communist is male, and looks like the fascist is female. So okay, Kamala must have been the fascist. Just saying. TBA says that meme misgendered them. Well, you know, no, Kamala's the baby. Well, you know, Minmo, you may be onto something there, my friend. You may be onto something. Oh my goodness. WWG1 says, no. Kamala's not the baby. Kamala's the stupid one. Well, now wait a minute, WWG1. Which one of the three? Which one of the three of them's the stupid one? Is it the kid or the parents or one of the parents or both of the parents? I don't know. You tell me. We shall see. We shall see. Anyway, that is the first meme of the night. Now, you have to be careful of who you get in bed with politically, because not only do you never know what you're going to produce, out of it might come some slogans that you never intended for. As a way of example of that point, in 1928, Hoover said, "A chicken in every pot." Well, fast forward a whole bunch of years, a tampon machine in every boy's bathroom. Harris Walls, 2024. Yeah. Yeah. Things that make you go, jeez. Woo, baby. I tell you what, man, oh man. WWG1 says, you may get monkeypox. Well, you know, another reason to be very careful who you get in bed with. Very true indeed. Very true indeed. So there you go. Some political sloganeering for the modern age. Minmo says, it ought to read, should be tax money for illegals, Harris. Well, we'll get to a little bit of that too. Now, I disavow this. I absolutely disavow this. I'm not. Now, wait a minute. I'm not saying small time is wrong, but you know, are both of his daughters wacko? I ask you. Come on now. Seriously? Goodness me. For small time, you know I'm just giving you crap, but that is kind of funny. Oh, now this I did not know. Well, no, okay, then I'll take a little bit of that. I might give her a little less grief than I might otherwise do. So, TBA says, don't disavow it. It's true. Oh man, y'all are just have mercy. Now, okay, look. That thing about, a tampon box in every boy's bathroom, maybe that's a little bit harsh. And I think, honestly, um, I really do believe that the Harris campaign, when they first heard about that political button, they tried to find something that was a little more appropriate, um, and accurate, by the way. With that said, they came up with a new slogan that I think is going to go out on their campaign buttons and signage. What do you guys think about this one? It's very honest. I'll give you that. I just don't know if it's all that helpful, all things considered. I don't know. Like I say, it's really honest. Truly. I mean, you get twice the stupidity without the dementia. Now, I guess that's the positive of the whole thing. You don't have to worry about the dementia, but I don't know about the twice the stupidity part. I don't know that that's really going to be all that helpful to her, to be perfectly honest. But I will say it at least she's trying to be honest. Well, TBA is not happy with it over on Rumble. He says, meh, it's weak. Well, just saying. You may be right. You may be right, my friend. You may be right. Now, wait a minute now. Hold on a minute. What is this? What do you get when you made a Democrat and a beta male? Nothing. They aborted it and turned it there. Oh my God! What? Oh, Midmo. Oh my goodness. You guys are you're rough. You are a rough crowd tonight. I'm telling you what. You are a really rough crowd. Now, this next one kind of leads into our first story of the night. Everybody is kind of wondering what's going to happen tomorrow night. I mean, what kind of Kamala Harris are we going to get? Are we going to get the vice president? Are we going to get the prosecutor? Are we going to get the tough on crime Kamala Harris? I don't know. Well, someone thinks they've come up with a way to help determine exactly what kind of Kamala Harris we're going to get. And it's actually kind of interesting because, some things are left to random chance. And even though this may be one of those things left to random chance, I think even in the random chance, there's a really good possibility that you could get one of these versions of Kamala Harris. You might get the Valley Girl, the Southerner, the Cajun, a Midwesterner. Could she be a New Yorker, a Texan? Is she going to sound like she's from the hood? Will she be a snobby elite? I don't know. But here's the thing. If you pull the lever up here, well, you could wind up getting any one of them, but they'd all be just as equally accurate. So, I don't know, folks. I think this is going to... Every one of these is distinctly possible tomorrow night. Like I say, pull the lever and watch the arrow go round, and there you go. So we shall see. And this meme kind of leads into our first subject of discussion for the evening, and that is the upcoming debate tomorrow night. Okay, look, they have been talking trash at each other for weeks. They have been negotiating with each other for weeks. They have back and forth about the negotiations. They've told each other what they thought about each other's demands. They have done everything else. And now it's finally game on. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, former President Donald Trump and current Vice President Kamala Harris take the stage in Philadelphia at the Constitution Center in a debate on ABC News, hosted by David Muir, the anchor of ABC News Tonight, and Lindsay Davis, one of their main correspondents. Trump and Harris will be debating for an hour and a half. The rules, as stated: no hot mics, 2 minutes apiece, 1 minute rebuttal. They can't ask each other any questions. No notes. Standing up, etc. Now, all that sort of begs any number of interesting questions. What's going to happen tomorrow night? And that's the biggest one that everybody's trying to figure out. And I've got an answer for that, as you might suspect. And my answer is, I have absolutely no idea. Let me say it again. I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen tomorrow night. Now, some of y'all out there are sitting there going, what do you mean you don't know what happened? He's going to mop the floor with her. She's going to... We don't know. We don't know. I have no idea with absolute certainty what is going to happen tomorrow night. Now, some people are going to say, well, you're copping out on this. No, I'm not copping out on this. We're not going to know until we know. Now, that said, I've got some suspicions about what I think could happen. I have some hopes of what I want to see happen, and I will share those with you, along with some points about what I think Trump needs to do and what I think Kamala needs to do. Let's start with what I want to see happen. I'll tell you exactly what I want to see happen. I want to see Donald Trump hold her by the proverbial nose and kick her in the political ass all up and down that stage for 90 minutes. I want him to mop the floor with her. I want Donald Trump, politically and proverbially speaking, to beat on her like she is a rented government mule. Like a well, never mind. I won't take that analogy to the next step. But you get my point. I want him to take her from post to post and absolutely land haymakers for 90 minutes. Now, that's what I want to happen. I don't think it's going to happen totally, but I think the potential's there for it. Now, what do I think will happen? I think Trump is going to roll in much like he did in the first debate in Pennsylvania. Okay. I think he's going to be cool. I think he's going to be calm. He is going to go after her. Of that, I have no doubt. Trump's going to absolutely go after her. The manner in which he does it, I think, is going to tell a whole lot, especially in the first 10, 15 minutes, is going to tell a whole lot about how he's going to treat the whole rest of the evening. Because there are ways of going after Kamala and there are ways of not doing it. So what should Trump do in this debate? Like I said, Trump needs to be cool. He needs to wait for his shot. Okay? Don't pounce. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying be passive, but when I say don't pounce, what I mean is this. Don't take the bait on the first thing thrown at you. You know when you want to throw your punch, and you know where you want to throw it. Don't waste your punches, verbally speaking. Come out of the corner, land your jabs, your verbal jabs, where appropriate, where everything else, but don't be brutish, and don't be a brute. Kamala strikes me as the kind of person in a debate, if you give her enough verbal rope, she's going to hang herself. Or, to continue with the boxing analogy, she's going to throw a punch, verbally speaking, but she's going to overextend herself doing it, and when she does, that'll leave the opening and Trump just counterpunches. He needs to go after her record. He needs to tell the American people, hey, she's been in charge with Joe Biden since January 2021. That may be one of the biggest things he has to do tomorrow night. He has to demonstrate to the American people not only that she was sworn in on January 20, 2021, she's been doing stuff ever since. And the stuff she's been doing has been causing the American people misery, either at home or abroad. See, Kamala is going to try and make this as though she is not the incumbent. No, no, no. She is. She may not be the incumbent president, but she's the incumbent vice president. And she's just as culpable and just as responsible for everything that's happened in the past 4 years. Oh, and Minmo, I absolutely agree with this. Absolutely agree with this. And that's something else Trump's got to do. And as a matter of fact, I've got the perfect line. And to me, it just makes sense. She says her values haven't changed. Well, the last time I looked, policy flows out of values. If you believe something, that should cause you to act a certain way. Well, now you're changing what you want to do. Doesn't that mean your values have changed? And the American people are going to be like, you got an answer for that one, Kamala? Now, what's Kamala got to do? In my book, and I could be dead wrong about this, in my estimation, there's more pressure on Kamala Harris tomorrow night than there is on Trump. Now, what am I getting at? Nobody is expecting her to really do well against Trump. As a matter of fact, and we got some examples of it here, the mainstream media is out there trying to lower expectations, so to speak. And I've got a couple articles here and some clips that we'll play here in a minute. Kamala's objective tomorrow night is to make it look like she can stand toe-to-toe with Trump. Okay? She has to look plausibly presidential. She has to look like it could make sense if she were president. Okay? That's why if I'm Trump, go after her, but do it in a measured sort of a way. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying back off of attacking her record. Absolutely go after her record. And do it in such a way that the next morning, people are standing around the water crew going, man, did you hear that line Trump got off last night? Because that's going to be the measure, maybe one of the measures of how successful Trump is. If Trump gets off one of those great lines for which he is patently known for, okay, then he will have succeeded in part, maybe even in whole. Oh man, y'all are on a roll tonight. I'm telling you what. Well, now hang on, Minmo. I'm not so sure about this. No, practically speaking, you're right. The media, however, is going to try and make it like she's the second coming of Barack Obama and FDR and William Jennings Bryan all rolled into one. The great debater, the great commoner. This is true too. I absolutely agree with this. And if Trump pins her on that, she's got problems. Oh, we got some more from her record tonight. Oh man, I got a couple of clips having to do with this whole Springfield, Ohio thing. Woo, baby, if you haven't seen these yet, oh boy. I mean, I tell you what, in all seriousness, this Springfield, Ohio situation might be more damaging to Kamala than almost anything else that Trump does tomorrow night. I'm serious about this. This Springfield, Ohio thing has got legs beyond the internet. I mean, I don't know how much you guys of this have seen, but I've got some clips from some city council meetings of some citizens that it just make you cry. It really will. We'll play some of those here in a minute. But Kamala has to come across as measured. She has to come across as plausibly presidential. And, if she can do that and withstand the attack that Trump's going to bring, she will be perceived as having done well. Now, here's the $1 million question, though. Is it enough? Oh, Robert. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Robert. Oh, my word. I disavow. I disavow. Oh, goodness. Y'all are just now see, Rhonda, this is a great question too. This is a really great question. See, this is what I'm starting to wonder about this spring, and we'll get to the Springfield situation. I'm not trying to tease you guys with it, but this is starting to go through my mind. Could this whole thing wind up being something that winds up hurting Kamala? And it's well, I've been saying for the longest time, there are going to be things that happen between now and election day that you never saw coming that could play a huge role in this election. This Springfield, Ohio thing could be one of them. Okay. Could very well be. But as far as what's going into tomorrow night, let's take a look at some of the things that are happening out there. I got a story from Politico, ran 3 days ago. And I'm not sure if what we're going to read is gamesmanship on her part or if this is straight up legit, but we're going to talk about it. So, got an article here from Politico. Headline: Harris team worry that she will be handcuffed by debate rules set by Biden. Even some Democrat strategists dismiss her griping as gamesmanship, but the mic rules are changing her strategy. Article written by Elena Schneider, Holly Otterbein, and Eli Stokels. We have the following. Kamala Harris had planned to object, fact check, and directly question Donald Trump while he was speaking during their debate next week. But now, with the rules just finalized to mute the candidates when their opponent speaks, the campaign officials said Harris advisors are scrambling to rewrite the playbook. Harris and her team holed up in a Pittsburgh hotel for multiple-day training debate camps, won an unmuted microphone so that the vice president could lean on her prosecutorial background, confronting the former president in the same way she laced into some of Trump's Supreme Court nominees and cabinet members during Senate hearings. Instead, 4 Harris campaign officials argued that she will be handcuffed by the rules, which were negotiated by President Joe Biden's team earlier this summer. Quote, Trump's worst moments in the debate are when he gets upset and snaps, said an aide to Harris in the 2024 presidential campaign, granted anonymity to speak freely, and they have neutered that. Some Democrats privately dismissed the Harris campaign's frustration as largely gamesmanship and expectation setting around Tuesday's debate in Philadelphia, but others say the rule change and her limited experience in national general election debates and interviews since becoming the party's nominee could affect Harris's debate performance. Quote, she could get thrown off by the muted mics, so putting their frustration about the mics out there, they're preparing for that possibility, said one of the National Democrat strategists, granted anonymity to speak candidly. Or they've got a set piece ready to go where Harris could turn to the camera and say, for those who can't hear it, Donald Trump is trying to yell over me. How many of you have been in a meeting where you get talked over? David Axelrod, who advised Barack Obama's presidential campaigns, was one of several Democrat operatives who noted that Harris's complaints about the muted microphones could also serve to get into Trump's head. Quote, what the Harris team is saying is that Trump's campaign does not trust him to control himself, Axelrod said. I don't think Trump likes to be depicted as someone being handled. So I do think there's an element of trying to psych out their side too. All right, let's talk about some of this. Give me a second while I take a quick sip. Cheers. Okay. I have no doubt at all that both sides of this thing are trying to get into each other's skull. Okay. I have seen Donald Trump, and I haven't got him pulled up, but God, over the weekend, he has absolutely been on fire on Truth Social, popping up comments about, they didn't give her a step stool to get up on for the podium, referring to the fact that she's about 5'4", that she's pissing her pants. I mean, just all kind. I mean, Trump is absolutely been trash talking and trolling her. Okay. I think to a certain degree, Harris has been trying to do the same thing. I mean, like I said, these two have been jawing at each other like a couple of football players on either side of the ball. It's absolutely, in one sense, it's kind of hysterical to watch. That said, however, There have also been reports coming out of the Harris camp that, and this is not just from Harris's people, this is from, sources that I trust, like Jack Posobiec and many others, that they have been running Kamala through the ringer for about 5 days in Pittsburgh. They've given her stacks of thick policy manuals, reading up on stuff, facts and figures and stuff like that. They've been doing back-to-back hour-and-a-half mock debates. They have been, and supposedly, according to reports, she's not happy about the way it's being done. They don't care. They want her to do it this way, yada, yada, yada. There is one possibility of what might happen tomorrow night. Okay. And I think this is very legitimately possible. They could wind up doing to her what was done in one sense to Joe Biden. Now, you hear me say that, and you're probably thinking to yourself, but Brian, there's no way you could compare a debate performance between Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. From a mental acuity standpoint, they're two different people. I agree with you. But there is one similarity, and it's this. They could wind up over-preparing her. Because remember, Biden had about 5 straight days of debate prep, albeit they handled him differently because he was 81 years old with various physical and mental issues. We don't even need to get and revisit that. But my point is this. They were trying to prep him as best they can. Policy manuals, sitting down with advisors, mock debates, everything else. Okay? They could possibly be making the same mistake with Kamala tomorrow night. And that would be bad enough. But you couple that, trying to cram that much preparation into one person, and the person they're trying to cram that preparation into is very insecure anyway, and has been known to lay an egg on the national debate stage. I'm not saying she's going to fall apart. I'm not saying that at all. But there is the distinct possibility she could have some deer in the headlights looks on her face tomorrow night, especially depending upon how Trump goes after her. And remember those looks that Biden had during the debate? Kind of like, why am I here? What's he saying? I don't know. Kind of sounds like a cross between a corpse and Elmer Fudd. Yeah. I'm not saying that's exactly what Kamala Harris is going to have tomorrow night, but if she goes looking like this, that's not good. She doesn't need that. Okay. People are going to be watching her maybe more than they watch Trump. Because let's be honest, Trump is a known quantity. I mean, with Donald Trump, you know what you're getting. Okay. The only question is what shade or hue is going to be painted on the palette, so to speak. In other words, yeah, Trump can come at you, but how's he going to do it? That's what where Trump's concerned, I think that's what everybody's going to be watching for. How is he going to go after her? What they're going to be watching from her is the reaction. And how she reacts to Trump either is going to really help her, or it could wind up really hurting her. Because here's one of the things that she absolutely, above all else, has to do tomorrow night. Okay? She's got to stop the slide. Now, what am I talking about? Okay, I haven't got it pulled up over here, but if you guys have been keeping an eye on the news today, well, you know what? Hang on a minute. I will pull this up real fast. There have been a whole set, and sometimes this discussion I know makes people a little bit crazy, but I do this for a reason. There have been a whole set of polls, new ones that have come out, fresh, some of them just this morning, and some of them even just this evening. And I'm going to put them up on the screen real quick to kind of explain what I mean by she's got to stop the slide. Take a look at this. These are from Real Clear Politics. As always, I always check their board to see what's up. Pew Research just dropped a poll this evening, And Pew doesn't do that many polls in a presidential race anymore. They've got this race stone cold tied head to head between Harris and Trump. Harvard Harris, which is Mark Penn's polling group, straight up tie, 50-50. Multiple candidates, tied. Okay. Georgia, 3-point lead for Trump. North Carolina, 3-point lead for Harris. Oh, I'm glitching? Oh, I'm sorry. Computer's been a little, sorry about that, folks. But just to show you what's going on, check this out. When you start factoring in these new polls that have come out in the past, call it 72 hours, in the Real Clear Politics average of polls, Harris only has a 1.2% lead nationwide. Now, last week, it was above 2 points. So what do I mean when I say she's got to stop the slide? Ladies and gentlemen, it's begun. What is it, Brian? It is Trump. If this election goes like the last 2 presidential elections, Donald Trump is going to start down, the train's going to come down the track, and it may have already gotten out of the station. In other words, he's starting his run, okay? Which means the polls are going to tighten, and tighten up all the way leading to Election Day, okay? TBA over on Rumble says, I'm calling BS on these polls. And TBA, you may be absolutely right. The only reason that I bring them up is not necessarily to advocate for their accuracy, but to show the trend. That's what I mean. The trend has already started, okay? The swing to Trump has already begun. He's already starting to tighten up the polls. She has got to stop that momentum. If she can't stop it, at least tomorrow night, she's got to break it somehow, okay? She needs to come out of this debate better than she went in, which the mainstream media will probably help her do that. They'll probably pop some polls up, 3-point lead, 4-point lead, whatever. But that's only arresting the slide. It doesn't stop it. Yeah, see, good point. The trend is your friend. Absolutely. So, oh, by the way, Rhonda, I saw your comment earlier. Where is it? Hang on a minute. I got to find this. This is too funny. Oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Come on. Oh, shoot. Yeah, about whether Mikey was having a drinking game tomorrow night. He probably will, knowing him. But anyway, you see my point. She's got to stop the slide, or at a minimum, she's got to slow it down. Okay? Because if past is prologue, if the past 2 presidential elections are indicators of what's coming, then not just in the national polls, in the state polls, you will see this thing get tighter and tighter and tighter. And here's the thing about Donald Trump. He, up to now, has always outperformed his polling numbers. So that's what she's got to do. And that's a tall order. Like I say, there is more pressure on Kamala in all this than there is on Trump. Trump's just got to go in and do his thing. The $1 million question is, how is he going to do it? Okay. She's got to go in and she's got to go after Trump. And she's got to look presidential doing it. How is she going to hold up under all that? Because this is a woman that does not handle pressure very well. She really doesn't. Okay. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now, that said, we've got a clip about from NBC News. This should be interesting. So give me 1 second and I'll get this thing pulled up for everybody. All right. Check this out. And as always, give me a sound check. Let me know if the sound is coming through okay.
Part of the debate prep that we understand she's been doing from sources is to figure out how to respond to Donald Trump on the stage. If he were to launch an insult or some other derogatory comment at her, as he's done on the campaign trail, part of the preparation process has been to figure out how to respond to those things. We've heard from sources as well as surrogates who were on TV over the weekend that part of the plan is for the vice president to remain calm in those situations, to appear presidential in those situations, but also be prepared to stand her ground, to call out any lies that she may hear on the debate stage, and to take Donald Trump to task on things that did or didn't happen during his time in the White House and the plans that he has going forward, trying to tie some of his ideas to things that have been presented as part of Project 2025, Chris.
Okay. So, yeah, a lot of preparation on her part. Two-a-days, having somebody stand as a mock Donald Trump, etc. Now, the funny thing about all this is, remember how I said that the Biden White House, Joe Biden, Karine Jean-Pierre have not been doing Kamala any favors? Well, Karine Jean-Claude Van Damme Pierre got off another one of her famous little missives from the press briefing today. Folks, do me a favor and check this out.
That their partnership is important, and how she has had even a critical role. If you think about some of these historic pieces of legislation where she was that vote, the vote that she made in the Senate, helped pass that legislation and turn it into law. The Inflation Reduction Act, for example.
Why do they keep doing this to her? Look, this is the most bizarre thing I think I've ever watched. I have a feeling I know why they're doing it. I can't prove it. But why are they doing this to her? She is desperately trying to convince the American people that it's time to move on to a different and new era of politics, and they keep tying her to everything Joe Biden did. Do they not realize they are absolutely putting a nail through her foot? TBA says, why are they doing this, Brian? I'll tell you exactly why they're doing this. This is Joe Biden's revenge. I will never be able to prove what I'm about to say next. And I have said this on several occasions. I'll never be able to prove it. But I have the strongest, absolutely strongest suspicion in my heart of hearts that Joe Biden pushed for her to get nominated as a way to, number one, get even with Barack Obama and everybody else in the Democrat Party that wanted him out, including Kamala, by the way. And don't you think that ain't going to come up tomorrow night on behalf of by way of Donald Trump? He's definitely going to bring up the fact that they bounced Biden out of this thing. He wanted her to be nominated, and having secured her nomination, Biden's going behind the scenes and absolutely sticking the knife in her back at every chance he gets. Yeah, like Montezuma's revenge. Exactly. The Spanish may have conquered Mexico, but the Aztecs got their revenge. You'll never be able to drink the water down there again. So yeah. Small Time says, if I'm Kamala, my strategy is to say that women are not safe around him and that our country is not either. Call him unhinged and say he mishandled the coup. Problem with that is more people died under Biden and Harris than they did under Trump. So she might be opening the door. Yeah, I absolutely believe it. I absolutely believe Joe and his people are going behind the scenes. Or if it's not that, then he and his White House are completely naive to the thinking of the American people right now. That's how out of touch they are. They really do believe their own propaganda, that the so-called Inflation Reduction Act was the best thing that ever could happen to the economy. And daggone it, Kamala ought to run on that and be proud of it. I don't really think that's the case. I think Joe Biden's somewhere in his addled brain is smart enough to realize, she's trying to get away from our administration, but we're not going to let her. I'm serious. I really do believe it. Joe Biden and his people are actively trying to sabotage her. That's why I think every so often you're getting comments from Karine Jean-Pierre in the White House press briefing. That's why every so often you get Biden saying something on the campaign trail that is absolutely undercutting her efforts of trying for her to separate herself from the Biden-Harris record, to make it look like she had nothing to do with it. And Joe's out there reminding everybody that Kamala was right by his side, helping him do everything that he did for the past 4 years. Now, like I say, I could be dead wrong about this, but I don't think I am. I really do believe part of him wants to put the screws to Kamala and to Obama, and this is his way of doing it. We'll see. We'll see. And just in time for the debate, by the way, did you hear the news today? Kamala has released her policy positions. Well, only 7 weeks after she got into the race, they're finally up on her website, just in time for the debate. Well, ain't that a kick in the head? Tell you what. So yeah, tomorrow night is going to be extraordinarily interesting. Extraordinarily interesting. And like I said, we're going to be carrying it 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Will be about a half an hour of pre-debate commentary. We're going to listen to the debate. We're going to have some stuff afterwards. This is going to be a whole lot of fun. Oh, yeah. Biden has all kinds of friends all over D.C. If he wants to put the knife in her back, it won't be that hard for him to do it. A phone call here, a text message there. And before you know it, he's laid enough booby traps out there for her. She'll step in one. If he doesn't have the verbal equivalent of a bouncing Betty going off on him. Good evening, Professor. Good evening, sir. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I am absolutely convinced he, in one form or another, directly or indirectly, he's trying to put the knife in her back, which, by the way, I will pass on some scuttlebutt that I've heard. And again, this is for what it's worth. I have heard that Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, and Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, are kind of living up to a prediction that I and other people have had. They're not exactly going out of their way to help Kamala right now. Oh, now, they might say it, to a member of the journalistic community or a newspaper reporter or whatever, but word on the street is they're not really doing a whole lot at this point. And the reason they're not doing a whole lot at this point is kind of what I suspected would happen, and many other people, by the way. So it's not necessarily original to me. And that is, they don't want Kamala to win. And if you're wondering why, stop and think about it for a second. If she wins, their plans are up in smoke for about 4, maybe even 8 years. They want an uncontested, open presidential race in 28 so that they can make some moves toward getting the presidential nomination for the Democrats. Oh, and TBA, I saw that Michigan Supreme Court won't let RFK off the ballot. They overturned the appellate court's decision in Michigan. I saw that. Absolutely saw it. Oh, yeah, they're putting the screws to him. So, that's the debate. Get ready, folks. It's going to get real interesting. Oh, yeah. And like I said, I'm not the only one that's posted this idea. Just saying. All right. Let's do a real quick commercial, a palate cleanser, and then we're going to go to our next story, our next discussion topic. If you have happened upon this live stream, as many wonderful people have, you have found your way to Chattin on the Porch. This is a live stream we do Monday through Thursday nights at 7:30 Eastern. We get together, we talk about the news, we kind of share our thoughts on everything and kind of help each other get through this crazy thing we call life. If that is your cup of tea or your brand of whiskey or your bottle of beer or your cup of water, well, then do me a favor. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel on YouTube and Rumble. Also, please go ahead and do me some favors. Leave some comments, hit the thumbs up, share the link around, do all that fun stuff. Okay. Y'all ready for a palate cleanser? You are about to be visited by the ghost of Tony Soprano. What am I talking about? I got an interview here with Sage Steele, and this is probably the best Gandolfini impression that I have ever heard. Absolutely amazing. So check this out.
Ask me a question.
Tony, what did you do with the body?
Like, doesn't fucking matter what I do with the fucking body. All the guys are gonna fucking bury it. Shell, Pussy, Christopher. They know their fucking position. I'm from the king of New Jersey. I run a fucking underbush. Uncle Junior Johnny fucking shack. Man, you can bury it behind a fucking bottom big. It doesn't matter. It goes wherever the fucking saying goes.
Oh my God. Like, I'm watching your mouth when you do it.
Yeah.
Is that the key? Like,
Yeah, like I said, notes. Tony is ish.
Talk about my sister Janish. Uncle Junior Johnny fucking shack. So then you gotta have that metal and AJ. We go down to Sumio's, Artie, the fucking bunkers. He's got the better guy with the good fucking gravy.
that's a different language you just spoke.
Yeah.
That's literally a different language.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
What's your best?
Absolutely got to be the best Gandolfini impersonation I've ever heard. Absolutely extraordinary. I mean, I miss him. I really do. Absolutely miss him. That is a cast that, and James Gandolfini, the whole bunch of them, just extraordinary. Just absolutely extraordinary. All right. I don't often get a chance to talk about the Sunday shows, but I found some of the commentary that happened. Well, I can't say he's better than Will Sasso's impersonation of James Gandolfini, but I'll tell you what, he's good. I don't always get the chance to talk about the Sunday shows, but I said a minute ago that Joe Biden is going out of his way to put the knife into Kamala Harris. I'm starting to wonder if her fellow Democrats in Washington aren't doing the same thing. Did you guys happen to catch Bernie Sanders the other day on Meet the Press? I've got a clip here. It runs about 50 seconds. I'll stop it if I think I need to. But I tell you what, her fellow Democrats are not doing her any favors. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, check this out.
Kamala Harris as a progressive. She has previously supported Medicare for all. Now she does not. She's previously supported a ban on fracking. Now she does not. These, Senator, are ideas that you have campaigned on. Do you think that she is abandoning her progressive ideals?
No, I don't think she's abandoning her ideals. I think she's trying to be pragmatic and doing what she thinks is right in order to win the election.
Wait a minute. Bernie, baby. What do you mean she's being pragmatic and doing what she's got to do to win an election? Well, she's trying to convince everybody that she's not as lefty as you are, and you're sitting there telling everybody, hey, she's not abandoning her progressive principles. She's being pragmatic. She's doing what she's got to do to win an election. Bernie, the last time I checked, that's what you call being a phony. Oh my God. With this guy. I'm serious. Do her fellow Democrats want her to win? I mean, I'm going to back that up a little bit and let you guys hear this. I mean, this is just absolutely crazy. Check this out.
Now she does not. These, Senator, are ideas that you have campaigned on. Do you think that she is abandoning her progressive ideals?
No, I don't think she's abandoning her ideals. I think she's trying to be pragmatic and doing what she thinks is right in order to win the election. My own view is slightly different. I think that in America today, there are a lot of people, rural people, working class people, who no longer believe that the United States Congress and government represents their interests, too dominated by big money
Now, for the record, I don't disagree with him on that point.
interests.
I mean, this is Bernie just sat there and told the American people, yeah, she's a progressive and she's doing what she's got to do to win the election. Translation, if that means I don't tell you what I really think, and that's called pragmatism, well, there you go. Or more specifically, yes, she's lying, and Bernie just told you so. WWG1 says, I don't recognize Bernie without his giant mittens. Well, you know, some things are trademarks. If he were wearing the mittens, I'm sure that you would definitely know who it was. WWG1 also says, you heard Bernie. She will lie about her positions just to win the election and then do an about face. Bingo! Ding, 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 ding. Right on the nose, folks. For the next 55 days, that woman is going to lie through her ever-loving teeth. She is going to try to convince you that she is something that she is not. And if Donald Trump does anything tomorrow night, he better paint her for what she is. Yeah, I agree with that completely. That, to me, would have been a fascinating election to watch. Which, don't get me wrong, 2016 was interesting anyway, for a lot of different reasons. But a populist against a populist, that would have been extraordinary. Because both sides of the uniparty wouldn't have known what to do. The Democrats wouldn't have known what to do. The Republicans didn't know what to do with Trump. But yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, and if you think that was bad, the Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock was weighing in on Meet the Depressed. And this exchange between Welker and Warnock, oh, man, I'm telling you, I swear these guys are doing her no favors at all. None. I mean, it's amazing to me. You got to listen to this.
Should she also be, in your opinion, supporting a mandatory gun buyback program?
Listen, we're not going to be able to get where we need to go without action in Congress. We've got to pass some laws to deal with this. Now, I was heartened by the fact that 2 years ago, we finally did a gun safety law, the Safer Communities Act. And it was the first gun safety law we passed in 30 years. 30 years. And it was modest, but it did save lives. But clearly, in the wake of what happened just the other day in Winder, Georgia, it's not enough. And the least we can do is move forward on the bipartisan spaces where ordinary people agree. Clearly, there's a disconnect between what the people, the American people, want and what they're able to get out of their government. Again, 87% of Americans believe in background checks. And yet I hear politicians say that it's not guns who kill people, it's people who kill people. And yet we don't even want to know who those people are. We won't even support.
Senator, just yes or no, though. Should she support the mandatory buyback program? Just a yes or no.
Listen, look, as a pastor, I've done buyback programs. You can pick this issue or that issue. But I think that, again, there's not one single thing that will make all of this go away.
Folks, I am telling you, her fellow Democrats are trying to get her to lose. Yes, he is stupid, but he's at least honest. Well, for as much as you can get an honesty out of a Democrat, but you get my point. I mean, I swear they're trying to get her to lose. Bernie's out there saying she's a progressive. She's not abandoning her principles. She's just being pragmatic and trying to win an election. Warnock's out there saying, yes, absolutely, she ought to support a buyback program. Are you guys trying? But I tell you what, I don't know who's trying to do her dirtier. Biden, Bernie, who? I don't know who. Shapiro up in Pennsylvania, Whitmer out in Michigan. I don't know who's trying to do her dirtier. But I swear her fellow Democrats do not want her to win. They really don't. I mean, normally Democrats are at least moderately discreet about this sort of thing. Usually they wait till after the election before they let you see what they really are. These guys aren't even trying to hide it now. That's how bad off they are. But, WWG1 says she knows all about the dirty. Well, now I have no, WWG1, I have no idea what you are referring to, sir. No idea. Oh, yeah. This is true, Rhonda. This is absolutely true. Totally. We got one more clip from the Sunday shows. Liz Cheney has decided to rear her head. Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah. TV's like, yeah. Kamala's got Cheney, Rove, and Bush on her. You know, that's one of the supreme ironies of this election. Think about this for a second. Think about it. You got Robert Kennedy Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, and Elon Musk supporting the Republican nominee for president. On the other side, you've got Dick Cheney, Liz Cheney, and others supporting the Democrat. Y'all ever seen an election quite like this? So Liz Cheney decided to rear her head and make her opinions known. Check this out.
So, bottom line, why did you make this decision to support Harris, and why did you do it now?
Yeah, I've been voting for 40 years. My first vote I ever cast was for Ronald Reagan in 1984. I've never voted for a Democrat.
Wow.
And it tells you, I think, the stakes in this election. Donald Trump presents a challenge and a threat fundamentally to the Republic. We see it on a daily basis. Somebody who was willing to use violence in order to attempt to seize power, to stay in power. Someone who represents unrecoverable catastrophe, frankly, in my view. And we have to do everything possible to ensure that he doesn't, that he's not reelected. Given how close this race is, in my view, again, it's not enough. You have many Republicans out there who are saying, well, we're not going to vote for him, but we will write someone else in.
Right.
And I think that this time around, that's not enough. That it's important to actually cast a vote for Vice President Harris.
I want to.
Well, there you go, folks. Amazing. Just absolutely amazing. I hadn't picked up on that fact, but, Rhonda, you might actually be onto something. You might be onto something. Oh, yeah. Now they do. Now they love Reagan. You got that right. Oh, goodness. All right. Let us shift to our last subject of the evening. Before we do that, it's about 8:45 Eastern Standard Time, and you have found your way to Chattin on the Porch, a fun little live stream that we do Monday through Thursday nights, 8:30 Eastern. What am I saying? 8:30. Geez, 7:30 Eastern. I'm thinking about tomorrow night already. Gosh, I've already shifted gears. Anyway, 7:30 Eastern. We're on Rumble. We are on Twitter. We are on YouTube. So please subscribe to my channel on both places, Rumble and YouTube. YouTubers, be diligent and vigilant with your subscriptions. Keep checking to make sure you're still subscribed. Hit the thumbs up, leave some comments, share the links, do all that happy jazz. Okay. Before we get to our next story of the night, and if you're wondering what it is, I teased it earlier. We're going to talk about Springfield, Ohio. We've got to talk about Springfield, Ohio, because I said a little earlier, there are events that could happen that no one saw coming that might do more to shape an election than anything the candidates will do directly themselves. And before we do that, I've got to set up what we're going to watch next, because we're going to watch some clips. Okay. I've got a meme, and I think you guys will find this kind of funny given some of the stories coming out of Springfield, Ohio. And I thought about putting up some ones related to cats, but The stories about the cats are not directly Springfield related. I'll kind of explain what I'm getting at here in just a minute. But we have Donald Duck trying to protect Donald Trump. Man, I'm falling apart here right now. This is awful. We have Donald Trump watching over the ducks. Now, if you don't exactly know what that is all about, I will explain briefly. Yes, I know, TBA, the cat memes are great, but you know what? I'm holding off on that just a little bit. Just a little bit. Folks, there are some crazy, and I mean crazy stories coming out of Springfield, Ohio. Now, for those of you who don't know where Springfield, Ohio is at, and I had to look this up on a map because I kept thinking it was on the eastern side of the state. Springfield, Ohio is between Columbus and Dayton. It's, if you had to look at it on a map, it's probably, if you go west of Columbus, it's about 3/4 of the way past Columbus before you get to Springfield. Okay. It's a town of about 60,000 people. In recent days, there now have been 20,000 Haitian migrants who have been relocated to Springfield, Ohio. So basically, they've gotten a 33% population increase. Okay. So now you've got 80,000 people in a town that used to hold 60, and 1/4 of this 80,000 people are not even citizens of the city of Springfield, Ohio, the state of Ohio, or the United States of America. And there has been some funky, and I mean funky stuff going on in Springfield, Ohio that is being laid at the feet of some of these Haitian immigrants. Now, I've got some clips, and these are fairly long, but I will only interrupt them if I think I need to. I got a clip here. It's about 3 minutes long. These come from various city council meetings in Springfield, Ohio. Okay, so it's not like this stuff's being made up by influencers or whatever. These are from recorded meetings. These are from recorded meetings at the city council in Springfield, Ohio. These are citizens of the city of Springfield voicing their concerns to their government. And folks, some of this stuff, I would tell you that it's funny, but it's not. And I think you're going to understand what I'm talking about here in a minute. So with that, I'm going to start this from the beginning. It runs about 3 minutes. If I think I need to stop it, I will. But we're going to play these. And if you want to know what's going on up there, you can hear it right from the lips of the people who live in Springfield. Check this out.
I think it's like kind of odd that like a guy like me has to come out from doing what I do on a daily basis to have fun, because I see what's going on in these streets, and I see you guys just sitting up there in them comfy chairs and suits, and I'm getting out here every day and I'm broadcasting this, and you guys are just sitting up there in suits or something. Like I really challenge you guys to get out here and do something. These Haitians are running into trash cans. They're running into buildings. They're running into, they flipping cars in the middle of the street. And I don't know how, like, y'all can be comfortable with this. Like, I don't know, like, who's getting paid from it. I honestly feel like someone's getting paid from it in the background. You got a bunch of people on a bus getting dropped off at a gas station to come down here. I know a single mom that FaceTimed me this morning at the welfare office that really need something. And it's nothing but immigrants over there. And I don't even want to seem like I'm coming down on the immigrants, because it's the people that's bringing them down here. Because wherever they're at, that's what they're used to, bro. They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them. Like, y'all get the Highway State Patrol down here every week, and then y'all get like a task force for the Highway State Patrol. And they look for guns and they look for dope and this and that and the fourth. that same people that y'all got riding up and down Limestone doing U-turns, pulling people over for blinkers and pulling people over for like going left to center and like a couple miles over, like y'all can take them same people, the Highway State Patrol, and you can take them in every single one of their silver Chargers and Dodge Durangos, and y'all can take them to Sunset, and y'all can park them right over there, and y'all can teach people how to drive, since the Highway State Patrol knows so much about traffic laws and know what to do in traffic. They need to, y'all pay them, they can go over there and teach these Haitians how to drive, because it's getting bro, I'm getting thousands of views on these, and it's going to get bigger, and it's only going to get worse. And y'all sitting up there in these chairs, all y'all need to get out here and do something. Y'all making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Y'all need to put on a t-shirt and some Crocs, and then y'all need to come out here in these streets, and y'all need to go out here and I'm out here before the police is. Like, y'all need to do something, bro. Y'all really got to stand on business. Y'all getting paid all this money just to wear a suit and sit in a chair. I think it's crazy, bro. We got to do something, bro. It's kids out here getting hurt. Like, only reason I even went on here and said something about it is because somebody told me they walking from the school and a Haitian almost ran into them. And who is getting paid? Like, how much money is y'all really getting paid, like, to bring them over here? Like, I know it's deeper than them. I know that's where they come from, and that's what they do. That's their country. I don't know what they got going on over there, but they can't do that over here. And if y'all just getting paid from it and then y'all ain't doing nothing about it, I think that's super weird, bro. Y'all got to stand on business. Y'all got to really, like, step up. Like, it's lame, bro. Like, for real.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Folks, you're going to hear some more like this, but this is absolutely, I mean, look, he has no reason to lie about this stuff. You're going to hear a couple more people here in just a minute. But you got 20,000 people who have no idea about American culture, have no idea about American values, have no idea about the laws or ordinances of the city of Springfield, Ohio, or the state of Ohio, or the United States, and they don't care. Haitians gonna Haitian. They're going to do what is natural and normal in their culture, and they don't care if they're doing it here in the United States or if they're doing it in Haiti. Apparently, they'd rather do it here in the United States. Lord knows they've been flown up here. Yeah, and this is a great point, Gypsy. Absolutely great point. Thousands of dollars in food stamps, and and they love the fresh kill. Absolutely. Yeah. Quackers is you're being tongue-in-cheek, but absolutely right. Absolutely right. Here's another point. They're killing Canadian geese. If this were in Michigan, man, they'd have their heads. Yeah. TBA says, I've heard they're getting thousands of dollars to be here. Oh, hang on to that thought, my friend. We got a clip for that. Anyway, we got some more from the city. This one's going to break your heart. This one is absolutely going to break your heart. But I understand where she's coming from, folks. Listen to this.
I'm done with what I'm seeing. It is so unsafe in my neighborhood anymore. I have the homeless that were trying to camp out, and I have made concessions with them, and I try to help them the best I can to keep them from trying to squat on my property. But it is so unsafe. I have men that cannot speak English in my front yard screaming at me, throwing mattresses in my front yard, throwing trash in my front yard. And I can't. Look at me. I weigh 95 pounds. I couldn't defend myself if I had to. My husband is elderly, and last night, after living in this home for 45 years, he said, Noelle, guess what? It's time to pack up and move. He said, we can't do this anymore. He said, it's killing both of us mentally. I don't understand what you expect of us as citizens. I mean, I understand they're here under temporary protected status, and you're protecting them, and I understand that our city services are overwhelmed and understaffed. But who's protecting us? If we're protecting them, who's protecting me? I want out of this town. I am sorry. Please give me a reason to stay.
Okay, I got a comment on that one. I said it's heartbreaking, and it is, but it also it just makes you mad. What we're talking about here, folks, is a breakdown in the compact between the citizens and their government. Because, I mean, you heard what this lady said. And like the gentleman before her, they don't necessarily hate, well, I shouldn't say they don't necessarily hate. They don't hate the Haitian people. They don't hate the immigrants that have come to Springfield, Ohio. They don't. But they are that woman and the gentleman speaking before her, they are the citizens of Springfield, Ohio, not the Haitians. Why is the government of Springfield, Ohio not protecting their interest first? This is a microcosm. You know what? Let me put that picture back up here. That woman's picture is the poster for what's going on in the country right now, and it has been going on for a number of years. But if you need something, if everybody needs something that crystallizes it, that breaks it down to its most basic, simple form, what is going on right now in Springfield, Ohio is the tip of the spear. It is the crystallization. It is whatever term you want to use. But this is the purest, most refined example of what happens when the compact between the governed and the government breaks down such that the government takes care of someone else's interests first before they take care of the governed. The people who have given the power and the money to government to protect them in ways that they cannot otherwise do for themselves, that government is now more interested in taking care of people who have no ties to the community. They have no ties to the state. They have no ties to the nation. I absolutely agree with this 100%. What is going on in Springfield, Ohio right now might wind up being don't get me wrong, there's any number of issues that are going to define this campaign. But if you're looking for something, if you're looking for some way to get undecided voters to understand what this is all about, in other words, what are the consequences of unchecked, unfettered Biden-Harris immigration policy, show them these clips. Tell them what's going on in Springfield, Ohio. Explain to them this is what happens when you take 20,000 people who are not citizens of a town, not citizens of a state, not citizens of a nation. You drop them into the middle of a very defined, specific culture. This is what happens to the citizens of the United States of America thanks to the current policies in immigration and border control. Thank you, Kamala Harris. This is what it looks like. I got one more clip. And again, this one runs about 2.5 minutes. Yeah, and this is true. But right now, finally the word hit me. God, I've had a long day. This Springfield, Ohio right now is the epicenter of what's going on. You've had examples of it. You've had cops in New York City who were killed just for pulling somebody over at a traffic stop. You had a young lady raped and killed in Georgia. You've had little 11-year-old kids killed because of Haitian immigrants. One of them in Springfield, Ohio, by the way. You've got apartment buildings being taken over in Aurora, Colorado. You've got gangs running amok in Chicago and Dallas, Texas. You're right, Gypsy, it is everywhere. But if you want something that is right now the tip of the spear, the epicenter of what's going on, it's Springfield, Ohio. And Trump has got to find a way to bring this up tomorrow night. If not tomorrow night, then throughout this campaign. These people, and not even necessary at a Trump rally, if they want it, if Trump's people reach out to him and they want to do it, that's up to them. But these people deserve to have their story told. The American people need to see the full consequences of Joe and Kamala's policies. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. TBA over on Rumble says, Cloward pivot strategy, break the contract between the citizens and their government, overrun the services, and force everyone to turn to the government for help. The town council is lucky the citizens haven't taken them all out, tarred and feathered, and run them out of town. The people of Aurora, Colorado are being overrun by Venezuelan gangs. Didn't make everyone realize what was going on, like having a few cats gutted and eaten in someone's driveway. That story is out of Canton, Ohio, but I know the one you're talking about, brother. I got one more clip here. This one runs about 2.5 minutes, but it's worth every bit of it. And again, folks, this stuff's heartbreaking. It really is. Do me a favor and take a listen to this lady's story.
I was out and about yesterday, driving around Springfield. I was looking at the giant holes in some of our buildings. I noticed all of the old familiar spots bearing new signs in an unfamiliar language. I watched as groups of strangers walked around the city like lost tourists, and it was like a punch in the gut. A terrible sadness came over me, and I began to cry. I immediately started to think back to when I was little, walking from my grandma's house on South Fountain through downtown and all the way to Snyder Park, going to Wren's to get new school clothes and shoes, the excitement of the mall for lunch at the Blue Fox, or even better to see Santa, riding down High Street, admiring the beauty of those stately homes and their amazing architecture, dropping pennies in the fountain and making wishes. And now all those warm memories are becoming fuel to the fire of anger inside of me. I feel like we have been invaded by some sort of pest. I'm angry that my friends and family are packing up and moving away. I'm angry that foreigners are using up the resources that were set up for the Americans that reside here. I'm angry that another country's flag was being flown in our city. I'm angry when I see our businesses and recreational areas littered with garbage left by people that do not know or understand our laws and culture and are making no attempt to learn about them. And let me be clear, this is not about race. This is about people being given the privilege of coming here from another country and having no respect for our people, our land, or our life's work. People living their life here the way they did in Haiti, angry, stealing, polluting, living in filth, and acting like animals. These are not civilized people. Opening containers in our grocery stores, helping themselves to what's inside and throwing the rest onto the shelves and floors. Pulling off of the highway to publicly clean and gut the roadkill lying there in front of anyone that passes by. Stealing animals from farmers and leaving their severed heads at the side of an old school where children play. Relieving themselves in public, making some barbaric stew out of the birds that live in our park. This is insanity, and it has to stop. What will become of Springfield? Where will we be in 5 years? The thought terrifies me. Will it be some sort of dystopian wasteland with most of our original residents having moved away and those that cannot afford to move being locked inside their homes, living in fear? This thought is keeping me awake at night. I just want the old Springfield back. I know it was far from perfect, but at least it was still ours. Thank you.
What else needs to be said? I'm telling you guys, Springfield, Ohio is now the epicenter of the argument about immigration policy in this country. The next time you have a friend of yours who says, "Oh, Kamala hasn't been doing that bad of a job." Oh no, wait. Before I do that, your friend is probably going to say, Kamala is not doing that bad of a job. You know, she's trying to help out with the problems that we've got. She's trying to do the best that she can, you know, with Joe Biden and the administration. Really? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, let's hear it from Kamala in her own words, what she thinks about the Haitian situation here in the United States.
Listen, the whole point is that we have to understand Haiti. I mean, talk about a country that has just experienced so much tragedy that has been about natural disasters, that the head of state assassinated. And we really have to do a lot more to recognize that as a member of the Western Hemisphere, we've got to support some very basic needs that the people of Haiti have to get back up.
So there are
Madam Vice President, I have a 4-word response for you. Like hell we have. We've got what Haiti is a hellhole. Okay? Let's just be honest about it. It's a damned hellhole. But it's our responsibility to clean up their mess. The hell we have to. They made that mess. Let them figure it out. Well, that's not very compassionate. No, but I'm right. It is the responsibility of the government of the United States to protect the citizens of this country first before we ever start worrying about anybody else. I want to play that clip, part of that clip again. I really do. My blood's starting to boil. My blood is starting to boil. Listen to this.
The head of state assassinated, and we really have to do a lot more to recognize that as a member of the Western Hemisphere, we've got to support some very basic needs that the people of Haiti have.
No, we don't. We've got to support our citizens. Excuse me, do you not see what's going on in Springfield, Ohio because of your idea of supporting the Haitian people? You've supported them to the point you imported 20,000 of them into a city that had no idea they were coming. The streets are being overrun. They're destroying civic life. People are going to start moving out of Springfield. The ones that can are going to be holed up in their houses, scared to death for the rest of their natural lives. No thanks to you, because you're more worried about taking care of somebody else than you are your fellow countrymen. And you want us to elect you as president? Not in my lifetime, you brainless broad. Oh my God. One more clip from Comrade Kamala. Explaining what's going on. Oh, again, your blood's going to boil when you hear this. Your blood's going to boil. Check this out.
That is why, also, starting with our administration, we gave TPS, temporary protected status, to Haitian migrants, 55,000. And then more recently, we extended temporary protected status to over 100,000 Haitian migrants for that very reason, that they need support, they need protection.
Oh, they need support. They need protection. Excuse me. What about the citizens of this country needing support and needing protection, Madam Vice President? You are more worried about people somewhere else than you are your own citizens. And now you're asking those citizens who you have taken a shit on, I'm sorry, forgive my language, but it's true, that you have taken an absolute shit on, and you want them to vote for you. You haven't done a damn thing to protect them for the past 4 years. Your actions have caused the citizens of this country, that's cost them more in money, it's cost them more in time, it's cost them more in frustration. In some cases, it's cost people their lives. You are destroying communities, and you're laughing all the way. You don't care about democracy. You were installed as the Democrat Party's nominee, and you're more worried about everybody else around the world than you are the very people that you swore an oath to protect. If I could snap my fingers, you wouldn't even be allowed to be elected dog catcher in the United States, let alone president of the United States. Blocked ad runner over on Rumble says 25 plus years of government employment has numbed me to this, and none of it surprised me. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Blocked Adrian also says we always got to help countries that wish we were dead. Piss on them. Yeah, I can't blame you, buddy. Yep. So yeah, the next time your friends, who are voting for Kamala, try to tell you about, that she's doing such a wonderful job, in what she's doing, show them those clips from Springfield. You can find them on Twitter. Show them those clips and then show them these. You know what? Matter of fact, let me drop. Have I got both of these? I got one of them. Oh, yeah, this is the one that's going to explain the most what's going on in Springfield. Here you go. Show them that. And then ask them, do you really think this woman cares about you? I know she doesn't. I know, absolutely know she doesn't. Oh, goodness. Just absolutely makes my blood boil. It really does. Anyway, I probably go need to cool off, and you guys have got stuff you got to do too. So let's bring this train into the station. I want to thank you guys. Oh, hang on a minute. Somebody just sent me something, I think. Maybe. What do we got here? Hang on. I think. Ruben sent me something. Hang on a minute. Oh, hang on. Real quick. Public service announcement from my good friend Ruben Christopher Haynes. Check this thing out. For anybody in the Washington, D.C. area, something you might be interested in. Rescue the Republic. It's an event, and it's got a website, jointheresistance.org. Apparently, there's an event in Washington, D.C., September 29th. And yeah, matter of fact, let me drop the link for this on both sides. That way you guys can take a look at it. Thank you, Ruben. Yeah, check that out, guys. Definitely worth a look. So yeah, we're going to be here tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern. So please plan on joining us. Tell your friends. Matter of fact, let me do something. Well, no, I can't do it yet. But the link for the live stream is already out on YouTube and on Rumble. So please plan on joining us tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Central for the debate. Ruben's going to be here. Darius is going to be here. Tracy's going to be here. And Lord knows who else might show up for this thing. But anyway, glad to have you guys here tonight. Thank you for letting me rant and rave a little bit. Thank you for your comments, the memes. You guys are totally, totally awesome. I love each and every one of you. You guys are the best audience I could ever ask for. Anyway, join us tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern, live coverage of the debate. So, yeah, brother, I understand completely. And congratulations on the new job. Congrats. Anyway, love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow night. And remember, it's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money, says that great American philosopher, Tom T. Hall. See you tomorrow night at 8:30.